Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on our brand new project truck, the 2000 Chevy Silverado 1500 Stepside, that we actually haven't even driven yet because there's a problem with the fuel system. So the goal is to repair that problem and get it out on the road and test drive it for the very first time. My name's LT, and on this channel we build custom and high performance trucks. So if that content appeals to you, please help me out and hit that subscribe button because we're trying to reach 100,000 subs by the end of this year. Now, before we get to the brand new Stepside project, I just wanted to give you guys an update on another project that we're doing at the same time, kind of in the background, and that is this 1993 F-150. Now, this is a customer build, and we're in the process of installing a 4.8 stroker Windsor from Blueprint Engines. And this is kind of where we're at right now. We've got the fuel system pretty much taken care of. I originally wanted to run, Holley has this new regulator that goes on the side of their Super Sniper. It's like a fuel rail that goes from the front to the back bowl, and it's got a built-in regulator, and it's really trick, and it plumbs in nice and simple. And I actually ordered one, and originally they had the ship date for like the end of July, but the end of July came, and now they've updated the part to be back ordered to like December. So we can't wait around that long. Even though the regulator does look really cool, we had to go kind of the other route and run an external regulator up on the firewall like you can see there. We got a fuel pressure gauge mounted. This is all plumbed in using Earl's Vapor Guard. That's what it is, Earl's Vapor Guard EFI. We've got the little Otaker style clamps on the end of the fittings you can see there. It definitely has a little bit more plumbing going on than if we had that nice little trick regulator fuel rail assembly, but that's all right. Other than that, I think you guys have seen most of this, but basically we're at the point of the project where I've got it wired up and we can do its very first fire up. So this project is kind of coming to a close. I want to get it done by the end of August, so I can get back to my own projects because that's kind of what's the most fun. I mean, customer jobs are nice, they help pay the bills, but at the end of the day, I really love making my own stuff. But you gotta have a balance, right? So anyway, fuel system on the new Silverado project. I originally, when I first started the truck up, when I was looking at it, I think I made a comment like, oh, maybe there's like a mouse nest or something clogged up on the back side of the air filter, like it's starving for air. I pulled the air filter out, it looks brand new, there's nothing in the way. And so my next thought was it's definitely the fuel system. Now last night I put a fuel pressure gauge on it and it's only making like 10 PSI of fuel pressure, which means there's like three things that it could be. Number one, it could have a clogged fuel filter. So I did pick up one of those and I'll swap that out first. I doubt it's the issue, but it never hurts to put a fresh fuel filter in there because I don't know when it was changed last. The second thing that it could be, which I'm thinking it probably is the electric fuel pump that's in the tank. Now I picked this one up from O'Reilly's. It's just their standard basic replacement, nothing special. I did find a K&N filter. Now if I were a smart person, which I'm not really saying that I am, I would probably take the time to upgrade to like a Walbro 255 or even like a 400, depending on how much horsepower I want to make from this thing. But I actually don't know what direction this whole build is going to take. I might stick with the LS. I might swap to a different style of engine that actually doesn't need an in-tank electric fuel pump. So we'll figure out what we're going to do later on, but for now I'm just going to put a stock replacement in so I can get this truck kind of back to like daily driver status. I want to start putting some miles on it and enjoy the single cab for just a little while before we tear it apart like we do all these other projects. The third thing that it could be, which I haven't ordered because I don't think it is the fuel pressure regulator. I think because it's only making like 10 PSI of fuel pressure, it's probably the pump. So a pump and a new filter definitely ought to get this thing back on the road. Now, in terms of accessing the fuel pump, there's always a couple different ways you can do it. You can lift the bed off, which I might have to do. I do want to try the tipping the bed off to the side method because I've seen a lot of guys do it and it makes it a little bit easier so you don't have to remove the bed. But with a Stepside, those little plastic fenders down below, they get a little bit closer to the frame, so I'm not sure if that will work, tipping it up. And of course, you can always cut the hole in the floor of the bed, which if you do that, you need to unsubscribe to this channel because that is not how we do things here. We are not cutting a hole in the floor of the bed. We are doing it the right way. Anyhow, let's get to work. making a mess. So the first thing we did was replace the fuel filter. I didn't really think it was going to solve the problem, but it was worth a shot, and it's good preventative maintenance because I don't know when the last time the fuel filter was replaced, so I was happy to do it regardless. The new fuel pump, that's what solved our problem and restored fuel pressure, so the truck fired right up, which is awesome. It sounds great, just like a 4.8 should. It doesn't have any weird noises or ticks or anything like that, so we're going to get out on the road and put some miles on this baby. So I will note that we do have a bunch of old gas in the tank. It's actually almost full. And the owner told me I don't know if he filled it up in November, but that's when the truck was parked. So that gas could be even older than that. So at least 9-month-old gasoline, and it smells awful. It smells varnished up and nasty and gunky. And I probably should have drained it out and replaced it with all fresh gas, but I think I'm just gonna maybe top it off with a little bit of fresh and then just kind of run it through, get the tank almost all the way empty, and then completely fill it up again. I did put in 2 bottles of that fuel system cleaner. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I figure if there's any varnish or gunk inside the injectors, it'll help free that up possibly. But I think I will, in another 5,000 miles, replace the fuel filter again, just in case it's collected any dirt or garbage that's in the fuel tank now. In terms of removing the fuel pump from the truck, I did try the tip the bed up to the side method. I don't think I'm actually going to do that again. Number one, it's no more work than just removing it with a cherry picker. And number two, I kind of feel a little bit spooked just being under there with that big giant heavy bed on top of me. And I did have a 4x4 wooden post in between the frame and the bottom of the bed floor, but still I'm like, that's a lot of weight, and if something, happened, I bumped the board with my hand, or who knows, when that bed comes down on top of you, you're going to be hurting and probably really seriously injured. So anyway, in the future, I'm just going to remove the bed from the truck. It will work, but I just don't like that method. So anyway, the truck is basically fixed as far as I can tell, which means it's time to hit the road and see how that little 4.8 can do. So it was actually the next morning, and I actually did take the truck out last night for a little drive just to kind of see how it went. Right now we've got a total of 40 miles on the trip meter since putting the fuel pump in. And I gotta say, this little 4.8 seems to be running great. Overall, the truck has, I think, 184,000 miles and change on it. And everything's doing what it should. I mean, the transmission shifts fine, the engine is quiet, no weird noises. The truck is bone stock other than a aftermarket, catback exhaust. It's not a Flowmaster, it's just a budget muffler store chambered muffler, so it does sound just like a Flowmaster. But yeah, the truck is smooth. It's actually, believe it or not, the smoothest running truck in my fleet. It's smoother than the AT4, definitely smoother than the ugly truck and the Suburban, and I think partly because it has 16-inch wheels and it has a 75 series sidewall on it, so it's got plenty of cushion in the tires. The suspension is smooth, and the truck, it drives great. I mean, the tires are definitely dry rotted. I'll probably have to replace those before too long. But yeah, other than that, I'm just going to start using this thing and try to cycle through all the fuel that's in the tank. I did top it off with a little bit of fresh 91. I was able to squeeze like 5 more gallons in there, which hopefully will dilute whatever gunk is in there just enough so I can, you know, not have any future problems with it. But I think as long as I just use it, run that fuel through there, and don't leave the truck sitting for another, 11 months, I think that will be good. So there's one test that we've pretty much always got to try in a truck, and I have no idea how torque management is going to react. This does have the limited slip differential, but let's see if it'll spin the tires. Not even close. I definitely think there's some torque management going on there. Like I said, this truck is bone stock. Does pull pretty good once you get rolling, and then get that 4L60, like really big RPM drop between first and second. I have no idea what the horsepower on these 4.8s are. I think it's like 290, 280, something like that. We definitely will tune this truck. It's not bad for what it is, just coming from an 8.1. It's a really, really big change of pace, especially right off the hit. But you guys have asked for a lot of like budget and simple upgrades, and I think that's kind of how we're going to play this one at first. I do have a camshaft, and we might do long tube headers, just kind of your basic bolt-ons. It of course would be fun to swap in an LQ9 or even an LQ4 6-liter. And I really don't know long-term what direction this project is going to take, but at first it's just kind of going to be like a mild bolt-on daily drive until I can kind of sort out the plan for it, because really I need to focus my attention on the engine build for Ugly Truck first. I'll get that kind of rolling before I dive deep into this one. And then the Suburban, I've got a whole bunch of front-end stuff. We'll work on that, but it'll be just kind of fun to see what we can do with this 4.8. So the very first thing that I've got to fix is like super annoying. It's actually in the seats. This has power seats, and there's a little, I had to look it up this morning, but there's like a little shim in there that kind of is made from plastic, and it wears out, and basically the seat just is loose. It rocks back and forth, so every time you step on the brake or step on the gas, you're just kind of ahead and back, and it's like really annoying. So I actually found them. I've ordered the replacement shims, and I'll do that like right away, because I can't stand the seat like wiggling back and forth. But other than that, this truck, as far as I'm concerned, it's dirty, but it's perfect. I mean, the radio works, the AC works, the lights work. I haven't found anything yet that doesn't work on this thing, so I am really happy with my purchase. And the next thing that we have to do, because I do live near Utah, is get this thing to pass an emissions test, which I don't think will be a big deal at all. But I do want to head back to the house real quick and show you guys a tool that was sent to me to check out, and I'll just kind of pull the codes, but I'll just give it a quick scan to make sure the readiness monitors have done their thing, and to make sure that we are ready to pass the emissions test. So luckily our YouTube channel has been growing pretty steadily, and I'm very thankful for that. But along the way, we also get a lot of requests from manufacturers to do reviews of their product in exchange for the product. That's just kind of basic business, and a lot of times I just have to decline, because I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that people reach out to me and ask me to review. I mean, I'm talking just like inexpensive HID headlight kits, vinyl stickers, just all sorts of automotive doodads, and then even stuff that isn't related at all to automotive stuff. I mean, lately I've got some German kids fashion company reached out and said, hey, can we get you to do a review of our product? And I'm like, that has nothing to do with the channel at all. But every once in a while I will get lucky, and I'll have a company reach out that actually makes a product that I could use, and I'll say, you know what, let's go ahead, let's give it a shot. So that's what I'm going to do today. The company called Topdon, they reached out, and they have a product called the RT airbag 800 BT, and it's a wireless OBD2 Bluetooth enabled code reader. Now, most of the inexpensive code readers that I have, I've actually got 2 of them. They'll only read your basic engine control module and just give you your engine codes, but they won't allow you to read things like the ABS module, cruise control, body control module, other things that are also important to know. So they sent me this one over to take a quick look at, and I've actually used it on a couple different cars just for pulling codes and stuff. And today we're going to plug it into the 2000 Silverado. And really, my goal here is just to make sure that everything looks kosher, so this will pass its emissions test on the first go-around. I hate messing around with the emissions test stuff. It's unfortunately just a fact of life living here in Utah, and a lot of states you actually have to do this. Luckily, the truck is stock, so I shouldn't have any problems there, just as long as the readiness monitors and all those other things have done whatever they have to do. You know, we've driven the truck now, I just checked, a total of 60 miles, and hopefully that's long enough. So just to make sure though, we'll plug the scan tool in and see what it says. Alright, so I got it here just kind of scanning. It's going to read the VIN number and all that and make the connections it's got to make to the vehicle. Alright, it found it, 2000 Silverado. That's my VIN number, yes. So I will go to, first of all, I just want to hit system selection and go to, yes, it is a 4-speed automatic without air pump. Just make sure it selects all the options you've got. Alright, first thing I'm going to select is powertrain system. I'm going to read fault code, DTC information. There shouldn't be anything here. That's interesting. We have fuel trim system lean bank 1, fuel trim lean bank 2. Last test not ran. This ignition not ran. That's interesting. The one thing that's of particular interest to me right now is this IM system information. Basically, that's kind of the readiness monitor or the onboard emission test that all OBD2 vehicles are doing. So I'll just click this guy right here. IM system status is going to kind of read what's going on there. Alright, IM system status. DTCs, number of DTCs 0, malfunction lamp requested no. Test complete, catalyst yes, evaporative emissions no, heated O2 sensor yes, heated O2 heater yes. So that's basically what it shows, and as far as I can tell, we should be good to pass our emissions test. So I've just been playing with a couple different menus on here, and this thing actually seems to read quite a bit of data. I mean, it'll connect to the ABS module, the airbag module. We've got the powertrain. It'll read the transfer case, all those different things that this truck has. And depending on what options your car has, it'll probably do even more than that. So I got to say, I'm fairly impressed so far. It's cool that it can read those codes, and for what I want to know today at least, it did show me I had 2, I think, pending or history check engine lights for the System 2 Lean. Bank 1 and Bank 2, I'm not sure what that's about, but at least according to the, first of all, the check engine light's not even on, and second of all, the IM monitor looks like everything is passed. So hopefully we're good to pass the emissions test. If not, we'll figure out what's going on. But that'll bring this video to an end, so I got to say thank you guys for watching. I will put a link down in the description below for this guy right here, so you can check it out if you want to. Next time, I don't know what we're going to do, and I think I have a steering stabilizer for the AT4. Might work on that. Might work on the seats on this to try to tighten them up. I'm not entirely sure yet, but either way, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can follow along with all the crazy shenanigans that we get into. Click the like button, drop a comment down below, let me know what you think of the Stepside, and once again, let me know what you guys think I should do to it. I think pretty much the top suggestion so far has been an all-wheel drive conversion, and I definitely would love to do that. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.